rat dragons.
I mean, I think they're scarier in general. With a dragon, you know where you stand. It's got big teeth and it will eat you without too much hesitation. A fairy dragon, it looks cute. It's deceiving.
Fair point, fair point. And ladies and gentlemen, we're getting to Infernal Shrines. And that is a map. As hard to believe it sounds. I think we're seeing for the first time today.
Yes, this is the first Infernal Shrines of the day. Wow, that is weird to say.
Definitely true. So, both teams with mixed results in this season up to this point. 2-3 in, or against RPG basically, and 1-2 against BTG. So, who's going to come out on top remains to be seen. Once again, like I called this a relatively even matchup, probably the most even one we had all day. And the map scores are basically proving me right.
Indeed. Now, BTG with the first ban as we move into the game number 2. And that was an interesting game. The fact that RPG could have won this, could have won that previous game easily if just the fight had gone a bit differently.
All right, how much emphasis are we going to see on the Hanzo, on the Genji? And what is RPG going to bring to the table? I mean, we talked about their infamous style last phase when they refused to teamfight, and they always had somebody like Illidan, Dehaka, constantly pressuring the side lanes, putting so much just discomfort on their opponents. And I'm really missing this innovative, this very creative RPG style. Although, let's not forget about last game. That was pretty cool, but unfortunately it wasn't successful.
Indeed, it was not. So for now we see Banzo and the potential for Gonji.
Yes, Gonji. Is he going to be gone?
Let's find out. Other heroes with ETC, I think, was the actual other ban in the previous series.
Very true.
Which is also very solid. It's a great Wang hero, but also 619 can drop some very scary mosh bits.
Man, you mentioned Wang, and he's probably one of the most... I don't know even how to describe him, like, inconsistent players in terms, not just in terms of how he performs in-game, but also in terms of how he behaves during a draft. Like, for example, last year, his Stitches was amazing. It was without a doubt one of the best Stitches in the league, and everybody feared it. They even banned it against him. But here in this season, Tetcher, what happens?
He just stopped playing it. Stitches dropped off in priority so much, which is
in China,
strange, honestly. Yeah, yes, definitely in China. And also, speaking of strange in terms of priorities, Alexstrasza banned? RPG, I'm pretty sure they just don't pay attention to what anyone else plays and just like have their own mind of basically, yeah, that's how this works.
Yeah, maybe it was also a gap closer, though, if they really wanted to put the pressure on beyond the game, whether they pick the Genji now or whether they leave it open for RPG. But yeah, you're definitely right. There are other heroes that if you want to have one of those Mada gap closer bans, that are much better than Alexstrasza, Uther, for example. Even an ETC. But there we go. It gets picked immediately up, so... I don't know, man.
So, Noctar Genji and a Sonya. That's a scary opener.
It's a very scary one. And at least, judging from how they behave during the draft, we can see that RPG does have a plan. They picked it so fast. They seem to know what they want to go for. Uther no longer the mix. That means no Divine Shielded Dragon Blades.
I think they expected to get Uther Sonya because the second Uther was picked, I don't know who it was on camera for RPG, but they just pulled a face of, oh, okay, that kind of reaction, and then immediately just went for the mouse.
Another support we have yet... I mean, we saw it in the past, but another support that we have yet to see on a regular basis in HGC China is Malfurion. He's such a staple in the Western scenes, and even Korea plays him a lot, but China, for some odd reason, just doesn't really seem to like the new style of healing that Malfurion brings to the table.
Would be a cool reason to bring back Wang Stitches.
Yeah.
Malfurion Stitches, the combo hook to root. We see ETC and Greymane picked up for BTG, the classic triple combo.
Yeah, that seems to be China's new favorite play toy, the ETC Uther Greymane combo.
Now bans for RPG. Really hard to ban against this current BTG lineup because they have basically everything they want and can just build around it. So they're really going to be banning counters to Genji at this point.
Definitely true. One of those counters could be an Anubarak, but then again, they already have ETC in the mix, so going double full tank without one of the full tanks being a good solo laner is very unlikely, although maybe they could have sent Greymane into the solo lane. But the Leoric ban is definitely making a lot of sense. Like, Leoric, he is a very uncomfortable hero to play against, especially with those Entombs potentially, and even the March of the Black Kings in those shrine areas provides so much control. I don't hate it.
Me neither, as we see the Rhaegar.
That is a strong statement, because now they basically blocked access to the one and only remaining cleanse. Only Uther and Rhaegar have it. I mean, Brightwing has it, but she's not really part of the meta.
Yeah.
And
Were
Lily...
RPG brave enough to play Brightwing as potentially what would be a solo?
Brightwing, Lily... I'm not really sure if that is worth it.
Do Lily. So, do it. But no, Lily is very unlikely due to Lily. Due to Liliness. But Brightwing alone, very unlikely. It might have to be a double support for RPG if they did want a cleanse. Other than that, they just need to spam heal, so probably Stukov or something like that. Well, Malfurion does have a stun removal, so...
He does have his own form of cleanse, if you will, but that one relies a lot more on timing and his ability to land the Ws. Yeah. So it's a lot more unreliable.
Tyrande as well has one.
She does.
They're going to cross that bridge when they come to it, but very unlikely Tyrande once again. Solo support Tyrande is immensely unlikely.
Okay, so we see, I think it is the second team to utilize Zarya. I think the only team up to this point who relied on her was Timeflow, and they did have good success with it.
I think Sora ran it one game, but that's
maybe
it.
Yeah, that's it. That's about it.
Indeed. So yeah, Zarya coming in here, very frontline heavy team here. Even Genji, well, Genji's not so much in the front line as in the enemy's backline, but still, it leaves their support a little bit more open because Zarya takes a lot of pressure off and technically can have a cleanse.
I think, like, beyond the game, they have to predict the support now that RPG is going to field. And I think the most probable, the most likely support is probably going to be Lucio, because he's still in the mix. He wasn't even targeted at all. So ideally,
there, by the way.
Yeah. So ideally, you're going to pick something that could be good against Lucio. You don't want to go for something like Malphite, in my opinion, because that could be countered way too easily. Oh, okay.
Well, they went for Malthael, but they also brought out the Gul'dan, which I like. That, once again, lowers the options. AoE healing begins to become the name of the game.
Very true. Very true. However, Zarya actually does quite well against Gul'dan sometimes when she drops a shield in the nick of time against a hero that was currently affected by the corruption, for example. So I think in terms of Zarya getting shield value, she's almost always going to be full HP, or full energy, excuse me, in those team fights, because Maltha is damage over time, Gul'dan, for the most part, is damage over time. Let's see, is it going to be that Lucio's sound barrier counter to the Tormented Souls, or are we going to see a Mouth after all? Okay!
We see a Mouth. I was really leaning towards Stukov, just like have flailing arm as the disengage for that.
That would have been a good one too.
But instead, we do get the Malfurion.
And let's not forget about the playmaking capabilities of a Malfurion, because Twilight Dream, although Malfurion was changed, remains a mega impactful heroic ability. If you hit that on the Malthael, while he's currently diving into the backline, he can no longer self-heal. He can't use any abilities. He doesn't have access to mobility either. So it's all going to be on Uther to really keep him safe and sound. I'm liking the Malfurion. And to be honest, Tetcher, there was a little bit of experimenting going on with Tranquility being a counter to the Tormented Souls as well.
Yeah, that has happened. There is, however, a wonderful button called Touch of Death that Malthael can have. Yeah. Cause severe issues for that, but if he doesn't pick it, which you will know by the time you get to level 10, it would be an adjustment.
So, whose draft do you like a little bit more? Any favorites?
BTG, because hard CC.
Very true. That's a solid point. You know what? I'm trusting the power of the new Mouth, though. I really think he's such a formidable support right now. I'm playing him a lot myself when I go Hero League. I think Europe has shown good results on him. Other regions have shown good results. So I'm a believer. I'm going with RPG this time.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see how well it works, because if RPG do win with this, they are going to give a severe boost to Malfurion's win rate in HGC China, which is currently 0. As we move into game number 2 in this best of 2. On the left, it is RPG with Chicken on Sonya, Wang on the Arthur, Star playing Malfurion, Infinity on Zarya, and Lokdar is playing the Genji. Back to normal.
And their opponents currently leading the series 1-0. It is beyond the game with Druid on the support again on Uther. 619 on ETC, ZJZ plays Malthael. LLK, the sub for this week, is on the Grey Mane. And Dancing, showing off a really strong performance last game, by the way, is on the Gul'dan, who also is a rather rare sight in China, as crazy as that may sound.
We begin to move in. A Fell Flame build coming in, and a Spear coming in for 619's face. But yes, we do see a Fell Flame build coming in for Gul'dan, very effective at Shrine Clear, due to the Corruption having very high potential to actually lose you skeletons due to the damage over time aspect.
Yeah, very true. The Fell Flame build gives you more raw damage, if you will, but hold that thought. Speaking of raw damage, LLK in trouble, takes another grenade, but survives. Just barely.
How is this team so lucky? Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even have Lucky in their roster, and they're still getting away with just an inch of HP left. But yeah, I think the adaptation here by Gul'dan is quite nice, because we mentioned it during the draft as well. When you go for a lot of poison damage, a lot of damage over time, then you can stop your damage to prevent the Zarya shield charging. So with the Fell Flame build, you have much more control over how you spread the damage out in those team fights.
Excellent point, well made, as we see Wang getting face melted away. 619 getting quite bullied this game, but he is ETC and has a nice solid healer, so he's able to take it.
Now, we've seen a lot of emphasis actually on mercenary camps on the traditional maps like Dragonshire that have night camp. Here, however, on Infernal Shrines, the same prioritization can't really be observed. I mean, there's a lot of mercenaries being taken early on, but they normally don't have that much of an impact. And especially the Fallen Shaman camps are still timed when the Punisher is about to hit, because unlike the night camps, they don't provide an aura that you can push with. They're just a nice distraction overall.
They're a very solid distraction, but like they'll get keeps. We've talked about this with Fallen Shamans before. They'll get keeps, but they can't get the core. An Impaler camp can get the core, but an Impaler camp will also take a lot longer to kill a keep.
Definitely true. So what we're gonna see now from beyond the game, both teams head-to-head when it comes to the overall global XP. Now it is RPG's time to take their own mercenaries. You see Proc Ruck here, level 4, the loudspeakers. Longer disengage range. 619 now getting caught by Arthas, but reinforcements have arrived.
Yeah, he has to move back a bit. Once again, face melt. Malfurion waiting a fair amount of time before he actually picks his level 4. Also, Zarya, shield cooldown, the allied shield cooldown here, which can lead into this can actually lead a Zarya into a cleansing shield thanks to that cooldown reduction.
Isn't it the shield amount? So the more globes you get, the bigger your shield is going to be? Like, give me 20?
Yes, but I believe at the end of the quest it does reduce the cooldown. Am I wrong on that one?
You could be right.
I will find out.
Here we go. Another talent that we need to talk about is the Dragon's Claw at level 4 for the Genji. It is a talent that had been buffed in the past numerous times, but still, especially in pro play, it never really saw play. Mostly we saw a full E build on Genji, applying a little bit of damage over time at the end of the dash. But let's see how useful the Dragon's Claw can be.
Wang taking a little bit of damage here. Nice stun by Uther. This is getting flashbacks to the last game as Wang gets taken out. Sar takes a retreat route, but cannot escape death as Malthael teleports to him. Everyone else is going to back up and take a more safe route, and apparently it is, in fact, gain shield, but after you finish the quest, gain cooldown reduction.
Okay, cool. So we were both right. Yay!
Yeah! We're good casters as a team.
All right.
As we do see, but yeah, you mentioned the Dragon's Claw, so what do you think about that?
The thing is, Dragon Claw sometimes works like Cassia's D-Explosion, where you basically need to accumulate something in order to get value from it, and that makes the talent a little bit inconsistent and unreliable. However, since the damage had been buffed multiple times, and due to the fact that Genji is probably going to be in the enemy's face all the time, it can get value, but I still remain unconvinced.
I will hold my judgment until Genji has died at least thrice more. But for now, the Punisher taken out, both towers and the gate already removed. So minimal, comfortable Punisher value.
Yeah, and if you take a look at Sonya's build, it's definitely something that we're almost exclusively seeing in China. Like, the fact that level 4 is almost always the Hurricane instead of the focused attack is so weird, because Sonya's in China definitely seem to be playing a little bit more defensively, and it doesn't really match the more aggressive Poison Spear focused attack playstyle that we see in other regions. And ferocious healing, once again.
Yeah, this is the full sustain build. This is an old-fashioned build. This is what we used to see sustained before the auto-attack build really came in. And the whole point of the auto-attack build, to be fair, was just so you'd win the solo lane. Dancing, juked. Genji comes in, but not even close to enough.
Living up to his name and outdancing his opponents there. And there we go. So many resources, so much time put into this gank by RPG that they have nobody left to defend the bottom lane. And thanks to Greyman and ETC applying the pressure and minions pouring in there as well, they're probably going to get this fort in the top lane at some point, extending the XP lead even more.
Is the response by RPG though? They grabbed their own. They grabbed a fort of their own in the bot lane, so not so bad for them. It's going to be a fort for a fort hit.
Yeah, fort for a fort, so RPG salvage the situation to the best of their abilities. However, that doesn't change the fact that they're not going to have access to their heroic abilities. The next shrine is yet to make an appearance though. And I want to take a look at Malfurion's build here, by the way. We don't see his own form of cleanse. Instead, we see the duration extension on his regrowth whenever he hits a Moonfire on an enemy hero.
Which is very cool to see in general. This basically means Malfurion is one of 2 healers who can basically have permanent healing up. Him and Stukov, with Stukov's level 16, which is mediocre. As we see the stun coming in from 619, looking for Infinity. Beautiful route, and the Horrify to prevent any... Just delivered into the enemy team. The body blocking ZJZ there, looking to finish off Sar and pick up the second kill of this fight, and he is able to do so.
Yeah, level 13 isn't here yet, so Malfurion didn't have access to the ice block. That could have saved him. One of the few things there, because beyond the game's focus fire was just on point. Too strong. ETC 619 is going for yet another one, but Arthas is probably not a target that falls that easily. However, they managed to trigger the Icebound Fortune. But yeah, that was a clean execution there. The early kill on Zarya. Really, really close though, because I think if the Horrify had expired a couple of moments quicker, then she could have used the personal barrier. But as it is, well played dancing, man. This guy seems to be on fire. Whichever assassin he plays, he performs really, really well on.
I completely agree. He's very hard to ban. He is a solid assassin. Like, he's not like super showy, hard carry style. It's just, I am doing my job and I am doing it correctly, and that is exactly what you want in a teammate.
Yep. Now heroics are here. Malfurion is holding it, making it a little bit exciting there. I think we could actually see Tranquility if RPG goes on the full protection train to really sustain as much as they can. But the more likely choice still is Twilight Dream, and there it is.
There it is. Yeah. There is Twilight Dream. And I was just thinking, like, but Touch of Death. It's already been picked. As Malfa does arrive to his teammates. So now he has that counter. If Malthael jumps in too early before his Tormented Souls, and if not, you can still prevent him from getting his healing with that Soul Rend.
First bullet goes down, ZJZ taking a little bit of poke damage. The anti-healing has been popped there as well. Chicken under a lot of problems here.
Chicken, though, waits it out before he drops as well, and here comes the Tormented Souls. And the Horrify prevents the Twilight Dream. Bye-bye, Matt. Oh, he still gets it off, but he does get taken out. The silence is good. Dragonblade getting a little bit of value here. Deflect gets interrupted, and down goes the Genji. 619 survives a while thanks to the Divine Shield, but it is still going to be a BTG fight as they are able to take that and the objective.
An absolute bloodbath, Tetcher. Both teams just slamming their heads together until one of them could do no more, and low HP heroes on both sides. But it is Beyond the Game that came out on top. The Mercenary Camp had been pushing top all the way through, and that is bad news for RPG, because guess what? The Purple Punisher is coming in the exact same lane. Here we take another look at that team fight.
Was very nice execution. Just look how split RPG gets thanks to that Horrify. That was the huge catalyst here. Loktar, he's getting some value with that Dragon Blade, but he can't finish anyone off. The only person on BTG to die, as we saw, was ETC, and even he lived longer than he should have thanks to that Divine Shield. Yeah,
definitely true. Now, Beyond the Game, they did use the final moments of that shrine before it expires to get back to base, heal up, replenish the mana and health bars alike, and now they're making a strong move here. If they get that top keep, that could be permanent damage. Wang already popping the Icebound Fortitude. He's under a lot of pressure.
The expulsion zone was good, trying to trap 619, but it was not enough. Chicken holding the line. There's the Horrify, forcing Malf super out of position. Down he goes. Another beautiful play by Dancing as Wang becomes the focus.
Yeah, beautifully done indeed. There was no Zarya shield to keep Malf alive. A big two-man mosh pit, and it is lights out for Chicken there as well. The Punisher is actually killed off, but there's still a very low keep, and I think they may even go for the core.
They can try. There's very low cooldowns. This could be risky.
Is ready.
Here comes the throw. Let's see if it happens. Infinity in. Gets the personal barrier off. Shield is down. Zar moves into position. Good Twilight Dream. Gets everyone. But the core is dropping down. Tormented Souls will keep that alive at least for the time. Leave Dragon Blade is cleaning up everyone. There's 2 members left. They're both in the room focusing the core. But it's not enough, Kendrick. And the core will survive. 619. Just attack the core. Stop staggering your death.
That was a very ambitious core call there. Yeah, 619. He's surviving a little bit longer, but they're not even going to kill him. They want to drag this out as much as they can, just preventing him from teleporting back. That is definitely legit. Yeah.
Honestly, I just really appreciate what he just did there, because there was a small scenario there where RPG could have run down to bot lane and tried to kill a key in that time while everyone was dead. But because they staggered themselves waiting for ETC, and considering the respawn timers are still so low, now that keep, there was no way they could have been able to kill it, even the front wall of it before they had before BTG were back.
Yep. And even if you like, this core call looked a little bit wonky by Beyond the Game, but even as it is, the kamikaze moves here were definitely worth it, because that 19% core and the shields included, they're not going to be a big obstacle if they ever get close to that top lane again. So they only need to kill 1 or 2 enemy heroes now in order to finish the game, because if the core had taken less damage, or if it was even at 100%, if they had retreated, that would be a whole different story.
19% core versus Greymane, and you're going to have a rough time if at any point he sneaks in there.
Yeah,
probably game over.
Definitely true, especially if you have defensive tools like Divine Shield there as well, allowing you to go for a much more efficient core attack. Now, Mokhtar going to safety here. Still, it was a good hold though. Like, we can't take anything away from RPG there. The 5-man Twilight Dream was huge. The Genji resets were real. So let's see if they can do it once more.
This is very, very, very nicely executed defense. A risky push, but like you said, it did gain a significant amount of value.
Definitely true. By the way, that was a nice cocktail there by LLK. Hitting, I think, 3 to 4 members at the same time and completing the quest at level 7. Nicely done.
Which still took him a fair amount of time, but at this point, it's still going to be useful. I'm starting to think that if RPG lived that long, Genji's going to try and go for, like, the deflect. Because look, he's taking the cooldown reduction as well, like the full AoE. Yeah. The perfect defense and the Zanjin at level 20. It used to be a thing, actually, before people really realized how good an Infinite Dragonblade was. It was a thing, but mostly on Baraxis, because if you at any point you ever fought under a boss, it was just GG, because if you took the boss damage, you won the game. Zarya, by the way, not going for the cleansing shield. They're taking the risk and instead going for the gain trade. Yep, double shields now are available, and also, of course, going for the self shield at 13, which basically gives her almost a second health bar if she was fully juiced up. It burns through her energy in exchange for living. As we see Chicken spinning in an attempt to try and take the objective. Here comes the Tormented Souls, very effective, mostly Wang though, but who's managed to sustain his way through this very nicely thanks to his undead minions. There's the Horrify, mostly focusing onto Sonya, but she's still alive while winning through. Genji comes in, immediately takes out Uther. There's the mosh pit though, so Genji having to take a really strange micro path there to try and stay alive. Sonya still surviving. Infinity 1v1 they kill each other. The freeze frame boxing death. Yeah, double KO here between Zarya and Greymane, the strongest woman in the world. Mokhtar? Locked up. Does he have another Swift Strike? Oh no, with style! Oh no. Nicely done again, Dancing. And that's going to be GG. There's catapults on the core, and now there is also a ZJZ on the core, and he will finish that off. Well played, and BTG take a 2-0. They take the game, and they take the series 2-0. By the way,
It looked a little bit goofy for Lockchurch to teleport away there, but he had to teleport away as fast as he possibly could, because otherwise the minions would have torn down the core. So another X for RPG. They couldn't take points away from this series. A little bit disappointing, no doubt, but they showed moments of brilliance. They're still a team to be reckoned with.
Yes, they did. We will hope to see a resurgence from them at some point, but for now, BTG showing what they have what it takes.
Yeah.
And they are able to grab those lovely points to move them closer to the middle of the table and the upper middle of the table.
And as our good friend Tychus would say, it was about damn time that Beyond the Game showed up, because they are the former third seed of China. They represented their country at GCWC and BlizzCon. And although they didn't get the best results in, they still looked like a strong team for the most part of last phase. And even on the tournaments, during the tournaments, they had their moments where they looked pretty okay. And they really start to show that they have used this experience and all the info they got at those tournaments. And they came out swinging. I think that was probably their best performance up to this day in 2018.
I would agree. It was a really strong game. Like RPG, I think their performance versus CE was also very good in the first game, but there's still signs of life. Also, I needed like a pair of glasses so I can just go, actually, Tychus never said damn in that speech. It was always hell, it's about time.
Can we get glasses on you for tomorrow? Do you have glasses nearby?
I don't own glasses. I used to wear them, but I managed to get good eyes. That my eyes got better, so it was all good. And we top our 20 kill quota, so well done, BTG and RPG.
You know what? 17-8, that's exactly my birthday. There we go.
Nice. Good to know. There you go. The subtle thing for the stream. Send him present. And who else could we have chosen?
Oh no, hell yeah, exactly. Dancing, showing off strong here in both games actually, but his Gul'dan made a strong claim for the hero to be picked a little bit more often in general, because if we compare China to other regions, we see an abysmal lack of Gul'dan for the most part, and Yaya continues her 0-4 streak now. None of the correct...
Poor Yaya. Sad times.
Poor Yaya.
Who's winning?
No is winning. He's looking very good. Yep, Big Guts.
We're also guide. No, Big Guts was the bald one.
Oh, Big Guts was the other one. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So there we go. We've learned.
We learn. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last series for today, for Monday. But Tetra has an announcement to make about the ongoing schedule of HGC for today.
Yes, currently starting at 6 p.m. Central European Time, aka, what's the time now? About 2. So, oh wait, that's 2 here, so 3 where you are. So in 3 hours, it will be time for the first European Open Division Day of 2018. Woo! And that is going to be, once again, on this channel. It is no longer on the channel of Follow Grubby, but have no fear, for he will be casting it with myself to find the next generation of great in HGC Europe.
Fantastic. And there's actually a stacked roster of amateur team participating this time. We have Team Singularity, which are looking really strong. We've got Team Granit, a strong mix between...
Is that how you pronounce it? Is there a role? Is there an R roll in there?
If you want to pronounce it the German way, then there is, but I'm not sure. It could be Team Granite, it could be Team Granit, but it's a mix of German and Swedish players, and it's a very scary lineup. And I think Kirva is also in there.
Boss. Yeah, there's Kirva, there's Raid Boss. It's a strong team.
It's a very fearsome team. So make sure to watch that at 6 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening, European time. So don't go anywhere, guys. Until then, maybe